All right. Done for the day here at the office. And if you can look out, looks like I'm still in Kansas City. Look at that, crazy. So crazy. I gotta watch out. There is like ice everywhere. That's hail, that's not snow. But we are freaking out here in Sacramento because we don't get stuff like this ever. Yeah, crazy weather. And I'm walking home, and these are awesome. This is a new thing that we'll be doing every week. We're going to start doing it on Thursdays, but it's basically an opportunity for you to just ask any questions that you have, and I will be tuning in. This is especially important for people that are in my Rewriting Your Story program. And I know there's a lot of people right now. Shout outs to the Fit Code family out in Chicago, where they actually have real weather like this. And then we also have a new gym family that we just partnered up with out in Kansas City, Kansas, out there this week in Lenexa. And that is Bar None Training, Wilson Thomas. So if you are part of that gym and you are getting ready to rewrite your story, this is your office hours. And how this is gonna work is pretty simple. I'm gonna schedule a time. You guys are gonna come, you're gonna ask all your questions. Some folks have already written in with their questions, and I'll make sure that I address some of those. We had lots of good questions today when you guys heard I was doing office hours. So I'm gonna answer those questions here on my walk home from work. One of the questions that I see right off the bat, because it's organic, and this guy is my dude, Bryant Garcia. Love you, man. Good to see you out here. And you said, I want to get started, but scared I can't sustain it. Now, Bryant, I wonder are you talking specifically about just getting started back on like a health journey, or is it specific to Whole Foods plant-based? Or is it specific to my program, Rewriting Your Story, which is the emotional side? I'm going to speak to kind of all of those levels and say that one of the things that we talk about so often is that the more times you've gone through weight loss and regain, and as I've mentioned, that's been part of my journey plenty of times. I have lost the weight and regained it. If we only measure success by the number on a scale, often what happens is we feel defeated. We feel like, what's the point? We feel like we've screwed up. If you are truly reflective on this journey, if you're allowing yourself to notice things about yourself, then there's a great chance that even if you regain the weight, you're still learning a lot, you're still growing in the process. Every time that I gained weight back, the reality is that I learned something about myself in that process. And so have you, Bryant. So have all of us. And really, when we get worried that we can't sustain it, we're getting too far out in the future. You know, we have to get back in the moment and just think about what is it today that is motivating us to make a change, and not get any further than that. Usually it's shame and hopelessness that keep us from moving forward and making changes. So the worry and the fear is totally normal, but it also serves no purpose or place right now, because a lot of times if we take a step back from it, we realize that we're telling a story that says that we're ashamed that we've lost our way, or that we've put some weight back on. And you know how I feel. We got to get away from the story of shame. We got to get away from that way of only viewing our progress based on the number on the scale. There's so many different ways to view your progress, and that is just one way in one area. And because I know you personally, I know, man, you have grown so much in your journey. The more that you continue to go through it, and because you are reflecting, because you are open. So get back on it. And if you're considering Whole Foods plant-based, don't be scared, man. You already saw the way us Whole Foods plant-based people eat over at Queen Sheba. So there's plenty of good stuff for you, and I'm more than happy to sit down with you anytime, man, and help you with that. Another question that we had from the Fit Code family out in Chicago, where they get the real weather like this. They actually get weather that looks like that. That's just hail. Although it looks like it's something more serious, it's not. The Fit Code family is writing in today. They are on stage 2 of the program, which is Know Your Why. Remember, we talk about in the research with The Biggest Loser that the number one predictor of success is your why. Why do you want to lose weight? If you just want to lose weight to look better, feel better, that's not enough. And so what we find is that if you can strengthen your why, you can make it legacy-based, make it bigger than you, then you're successful. Now, in the research, they talk a lot about, I want to be around for my family, I want to be around for my kids. One of the things people get caught up on this stage is thinking that they don't have a good enough why. And part of it's because they don't have kids yet, or they don't plan to have kids. You don't have to have kids in order to be successful at keeping the weight off. You don't have to have kids in order to have a strong why. What you need to be is you need to be focused on the bigger picture. Here's a great question to ask yourself if you're struggling with your why. If life, God forbid, were to end today, what would I be known for? There's that exercise people often do in different programs where they talk about, write your eulogy. And, it may sound morbid, but by sitting and actually considering what it is you'd be known for right now, you might realize is there's certain things in this process of rewriting your story that you want to be more intentional about. So your why doesn't have to be about being around. It could be about other people. There's some people that are coming right now from families where they don't have kids, but they come from families where obesity has been a long-standing intergenerational problem. Almost to the point where everyone in the family believes they can't lose weight, they can't maintain it. They have the genetics to be, predisposed to this stuff. That's something that I can relate to. I've felt that way a lot of times. There's some people in my family who feel that way too. So maybe that's your why. Maybe it's just saying, I want to be able to prove, not just for me, but it's bigger than me. I want to set the tone for my entire family to be able to see that we can lose the weight, that we can maintain a healthy lifestyle. Again, it's bigger than weight loss. Now, again, this program is bigger than just weight loss too. So when you're rewriting your story, you have to ask yourself, what are the things that I want to rewrite in my story? So some of you are talking about, I'm so sick of being a people pleaser. Okay, well, if you're sick of being a people pleaser, then again, your why needs to be partly incorporated in that why do you want to lose weight? Because you're putting everyone else first and you want to please everyone else when you're not making yourself a priority. So that's an extension of your why. We talk about legacy-based, long-term. The whole thing is that you got to get out of defining success only based on the number on a scale or based on some arbitrary number in general. When I'm doing research, there's two different types of ways to measure something. Quantitative, which is by numbers, or qualitative, which is hard to measure. It's stuff that, like, how do you measure empathy? There's not a scale of 1 to 100. Some things in your journey are going to be more qualitative than quantitative, and that's good. When it comes to defining your success, what I'm trying to get you guys out of is I'm trying to get you away from viewing success only based on some number on a scale, or only based on some dress size, or only based on some pant size, and instead start looking at it based on more sorts of characteristics. This last time that I started my journey, it was really more about energy. I wanted to feel energy. I wanted to have energy to spend at my practice. I wanted to be able to live with integrity. Those are things that I really set out to live by. That's what defined my success in my weight loss journey. So again, those are things that you could still develop a long-term anchor around. No, you don't have to have kids. So many people feel like you have to have kids to have a strong anchor, have a strong why. Absolutely not. And by the way, your why applies to everything in life. It's not just weight loss. It's not just your health journey. You have to be super intentional about creating a meaningful existence in order to do anything. Otherwise, we're going to be robotically just moving through life and not experiencing the sort of joy and satisfaction that we're all capable of having if we're not intentional about meaning. Setting the tone. I love it. Diane. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to set the tone. You have to be intentional. Austin Soldano, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Another person out there who's inspiring many, many people, Austin Soldano, in a lot of different work that he's doing on social media. Austin, I see you. I see the little mini Gary V in you, and you inspire me, man. So you're making me do more of these videos to try to reach more people in these different organic ways. So appreciate you, man, and we need to connect soon. Other questions that people are having, or feedback they're having in the Rewriting My Story program. And by the way, if you keep hearing this program and you're not in it, still can get in it. The two ways you get into it is by going to my website, drmondo.org/mystory. You can sign up now. You can start diving in. It's an 8-stage model where you rewrite your story with video lessons, journals, podcasts, class notes, exercises, Facebook interaction like this. So that's one way. You just go to my website, you can sign up that way. Or two, if you are going to a gym that is one of my affiliates there that I am currently working a little bit closer with, then you need to inquire with them about getting signed up either for this round or the next round of the program. If you're in the Fit Code community, you're reaching out to Lisa. If you are in the Bar None community, you're reaching out to Nikki. So those are your program coordinators. And we also are getting ready to relaunch, I'm happy to announce. It looks like with P2P in the Bay Area and Results Gym here in Sacramento. More info to come on that. Don't hold me to it. We're trying to figure it out. But if you're in the program, some people are saying, I'm having a hard time keeping up. Look, life is busy. And it's really hard to set time aside to do just about anything. Making it to the gym is hard enough, right? So how are you going to set time aside to do this program that is asking you to watch videos and is asking you to do journals? Well, you're only going to do it if you really want it. That's the bottom line. Unfortunately, we only make time for things that are super meaningful to us. And it takes a certain level of discipline, intentionality. So there's no way around that. If you really want this, you got to set time aside for it. But the other part of it is this, that the profile, when we look at the personality characteristics of someone that has struggled with any sort of addiction, and yeah, I'm going to classify food addiction with that too, is that we often stuff our emotions and our feelings. So the very thing that I'm asking you to do is to set time aside to encounter the things that you normally stuff and set aside or you eat away. So there's no way that you want to do that on a consistent basis. At some point, you're going to want to fall off track with that. But that's where the growth happens. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. No, I'm not the first one to say that. Tons and tons of amazing, people that came before me say that. And it's true. Truth is recycled in those ways. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you want to grow, that's the only way to grow. There's no hacks. There's no shortcuts to it. So if you want to do this program, and you want to rewrite your story, you have to set time aside. I told you 30 minutes is little as time. You set time aside for 30 minutes to watch some really ridiculous television shows. Let's be honest, we all do, okay? So if you could set aside time to watch a ridiculous TV show that's not gonna do anything to enhance your life, you can take that same 30 minutes and invest it back into yourself to allow yourself to grow. And all these exercises in this program, stage one is looking at your story, know your story. Stage 2, looking at your why, understanding what makes a strong why, which will allow you to rewrite your story. Stage 3, gaining insight, healing old wounds, really learning about yourself, learning the pattern that you have with comfort eating and why you eat and what your trigger emotions are. Stage 4, unique outcomes, learning to celebrate the unique outcomes in life, the times where you take a step away from the typical storyline. Stage 5, rewriting your story, really actually being intentional about saying, what do I want my life to be lived for? What do I want my life to be about? What do I want to be known for? Stage 6, renegotiating your relationships, taking a look at all the relationships in your life and saying, in what relationships am I living out my story and what relationships am I not? Who's supportive of my emerging story and who's not? Stage 7, building a support system that speaks the same language. Community is the name of the game. I'm not the only one who talks about it. So many people do. You have to have community around you that support you, love you, support your preferred story that you're looking to live out. Otherwise, you won't be successful. Stage 8, pay it forward. Find ways to pay forward what you've learned and help others in their process of rewriting their story. And of course, we're putting all of this specific to weight loss transformations. So again, notice I'm not talking though about everything you're doing in the gym or in the kitchen, because I truly believe, and what I've seen time and again, is if you focus on rewriting your story, that everything in your health transformation falls into place. You live a more rich, meaningful life. You're more connected to people that build community with you. And as a result, you find that all of a sudden the cravings that you had or the tendencies that you had to get lonely and anxious, Those are disappearing because now you have life balance. Now you're in community. Now you're not so depressed and lonely. And as a result, you don't have to find comfort in food quite as much. Now there's still more work to be done, but the program will help you do that. So again, some of you right now,